You waited, you watched, and when it was over, you thought, that's it. Squid Game Season 3 had all the pieces to end Netflix's biggest franchise with a bang, but instead, it fizzled. Sure, Seong Gi-hoon's journey came full circle. He sacrificed everything to become a symbol of the class struggle that started it all. Powerful, on paper. But beyond his arc, the rest of the series was a maze of empty corridors and dead ends. So why did one of the most talked about shows in history fail to say anything in its final act? Let's break it down. Why Squid Game Season 3 went nowhere. When Squid Game first hit, it was a cultural earthquake, a brutal, shocking parable about greed, survival, and the cruelty of capitalism, wrapped in a deadly game show. Season 1 had stakes, Season 2 expanded the world, and then came Season 3, a season that promised resolution, a season that should have been the climax of Netflix's crown jewel. And for one fleeting moment, it was. We saw Seong Gi-hoon finally transform from outcast to savior, a man who embraced self-sacrifice for the greater good, embodying the very rebellion that fueled the story's soul. His arc, complete, poetic, even. But as the final credits rolled, it became clear. Everything else was left hanging. Characters, themes, and storylines that had carried so much potential simply evaporated. Why? Because Squid Game 3, in chasing spectacle, forgot the very thing that made it matter in the first place. Let's start with the obvious. Outside of Gi-hoon, the rest of the cast was treated like props. Soldier 11 at least got some closure. A satisfying, if understated, ending. But everyone else? Take Hwang Jun-ho, the young policeman. His subplot was dead on arrival. After 3 seasons, his journey amounted to nothing. A character with so much intrigue and emotional weight reduced to filler. And then, the infamous VIPs. The show's ultimate villains, grotesque symbols of the elite pulling the strings. They should have been terrifying. Instead, they were laughable. This season, their scenes were slow, unnecessary, and awkward. Their exit, they just ran away, off screen. It's like the writers decided they didn't matter anymore, and maybe they didn't. But without these supporting stories anchoring the world, Gi-hoon's sacrifice feels hollow, a hero's victory in a world we no longer care about. What hurt the most was how completely Squid Game abandoned its core message. At its heart, this was always a story about class, about inequality, about how capitalism twists people into monsters. Season 3 should have deepened that conversation. Instead, it became obsessed with shock value. The games, once a metaphor for societal cruelty, were reduced to empty spectacle. Cool to watch? Sure, but devoid of the biting commentary that made the series unforgettable. By the end, the deadly competitions felt like a hollow carnival ride. Flashing lights, loud music, spinning wheels, but no soul. It was as if the show was competing with itself, trying to top its own twists at the expense of meaning. By the end, Squid Game felt more like just another action thriller than a dystopian nightmare we could all see ourselves living in. And that is a tragedy. So, where does that leave us? There's still hope. Netflix has already teased an American spin-off, and if we're lucky, that series might pick up where Season 3 left off, exploring Frontman's future and maybe, finally, returning to the show's original DNA. Because if it doesn't, then Squid Game risks becoming just another franchise that started strong and ended up saying nothing at all. And that is the real danger. Not just losing viewers, but losing its soul. So here's to hoping that somewhere out there in the next round of games, the story finds its way back to what really matters. Or else, game over. Squid Game Season 3 was supposed to be the grand finale. Instead, it was a cautionary tale. It proved that even the most brilliant concepts can collapse under their own weight if they forget the point. Gi-hoon's arc was beautiful, but one man can't carry an entire world on his shoulders. And so the series ends, not with a bang, but with a whimper. A hero stands tall, but the world around him lies unfinished. And maybe that's the cruelest game of all. What do you think? Did Squid Game Season 3 stick the landing, or did it miss the mark? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Prime Picks for more smart takes on the stories you love.